Okay, now you've completed the kitchen makeover. It's time to replace what you've removed with fast, delicious, nutritious alternatives. Nutritious alternatives that you and the family are going to enjoy and look forward to eating. Now, the first part to creating a rhythm that you can get into that makes eating this FDN easy and efficient is planning. Not everybody likes to plan. In fact, a lot of people don't like to plan at all because they will try and avoid committing to eating certain things. And I suppose the more emotional you are about your food, the less likely you are to commit. The questions of, well, maybe I'm not going to feel like that later on in the week come up. So it's really important here, and I'm going to keep reiterating it, that rather than limiting choices, you really do need to increase the amount of choices that you have available. The spice of life is variety. So to plan, there's a few pathways to go down, and I've found over the years this is the most family friendly way of doing it. And the first step is to have a family meeting. We have one at the start of the week, and what we do is we basically ask each other what we would like to eat for the week. The kids have their input, and this gives them buy-in, so they feel like they're in control, and they're more likely to eat what they've chosen. They're more likely to eat what their siblings have chosen, and they're more likely to eat what you've chosen as well because you've given them the power. This is the family planner that we use. It's just a cheapie that we got from the $2 shop. Right down the very bottom, you can see you've got tacos. That was Logie's choice. Tuna, that was Logie's choice. Logie loves tuna. Tacos was both the girls' choice. Pork rissoles. So we've basically written down the recipes in that family meeting, and you can do the same. So you get your Cookbook Bible out, have a flick through it. We've got the black and white version. You've got the color copy, and choose meals that are going to really get everybody excited. Okay. Everyone gets their own choice so that everyone feels equally important in the whole decision-making process. Now, in the beginning, you might find that your menu is going to change every single week, and that's normal. It's going to obviously throw a spanner in the works because you're going to have to think about it every single week. But if you have in the back of your mind that you're trying to find the foods that you really enjoy, the recipes that you really enjoy, that the family can eat week after week after week and not get sick of, then you'll eventually get yourself into a rhythm where your shopping list and your nutrition rhythm, it may not change for a month or two. And when it does need to change, when you do start getting sick of the meals and you go back to the Cook Bible and you start that whole process over again. So in the family meeting, it's all about simply just getting the meals from the Cook Bible and writing them down so you know what the kids want for dinner, what they want for breakfast, what you want for your meals in between, and what they'll need in their lunch boxes and so forth. And then what you're going to do is you're going to turn those recipes into a shopping list. But before I go on, let me just give you a few tips. First of all, one budget and time tip is to choose meals with cheap cuts of meat in it, okay? And that can be made in bulk. For example, if you've got a family of 4 like we do or more, then you'll find that recipes like the 10-minute chili con carne, they go a long way. Same as the savory mince, even the garlic chicken rissoles, they can go a long way as well. The recipes that use mince or slow cooked beef, chicken breast and thigh, stir fries, there are other good examples of this. They can be easily doubled, tripled, and the ingredients, especially the meat, very low cost. If you compare that to something like lamb shanks, lamb shanks is going to be pretty expensive. If you're trying to feed a family of 4, then you're going to have a hard time when it comes to the end of the checkout, right? So that's just a tip from our family to yours. A convenience tip is if you're on the run throughout the day and you can't necessarily heat up your meal or you can't necessarily sit down to eat, a good tip is to make food that you can eat on the run, like the garlic chicken rissoles, like the Mighty Meaty muffins, which is in the online version of the Cook Bible. They're really good. And there's some other things in there like the pumpkin muffins. When you can eat on the run and you can pick it up in your hand, you've basically got yourself the better version of a muesli bar, right? Or the better meal than just snacking on a piece of fruit, because that's obviously the fruit is not going to fill you up. Okay, so the tips there, they work really well in real life. I know we've got some paramedic mums who do that, nurse mums who also do that. So they'll take meals that they can eat with their fingers when they're at work, when they're in between tasks and duties and so forth. Yeah, so that's some tips from us to you. Moving forward, when you're writing out your shopping list, get used to writing out the first class proteins and identifying them in the recipe. So here I've got the chicken curry in a hurry. And if you flick to that page, you'll see that you've got 1 kilo of chicken breast fillets with the skin off. That is essentially your first class protein. Then you can put into a list your low energy plant food, your onions, your chickpeas, cauliflower, pumpkin, cucumber, right? And then you can put into a list of high energy carbs. So for this particular recipe, there's no high energy carbs, but if there was, then it might be potato, it might be sweet potato that you're putting in there that's high energy. What this will do is it will start to get you thinking in those terms, right? And then you'll be easily able to identify them. And what you'll find is, well, in the shops, all your first class proteins are going to be together. All your low energy plant foods are going to be pretty well together. In the fruit and veg section, you've got your first class proteins in the butchery or the deli, right? And then your high energy carbs are down the aisles, and your omega-3, well, that's going to be in the health food aisle or somewhere else, right? And your miscellaneous, like your coriander, that's a low energy plant food, but things like your curry powder and stuff, they're going to be in the spice section or wherever you might find them, right? But the whole idea is to not just write a shopping list that's 100 miles long, but write a shopping list that is concise and clear. And you can see that, all right, I need to go to this section to get my first class protein, this section to get my low energy plant food and so forth. And if you're picking maybe 3 to 4 recipes from your Cook Bible, you'll find there are similar ingredients. For example, if you're cooking the savory mince and you're cooking the chili or 10-minute chili con carne, both have mince in them. So if you're doing that, then you just basically on the shopping list, write down mince and then write down the amount that you need for both of those meals. Okay. So there it is. They're my tips